Hello Bloomington, I'm Mayor Tim Busse, and this is the Council Minute for the week of July 14th. Prior to our meeting on Monday, the City Council interviewed the 4 finalists selected for the Bloomington City Manager position. Out of those 4 finalists, 2 were selected to move forward with another round of interviews on Tuesday. And after significant discussion and review, I am proud to announce that the City Council has selected and made a conditional offer to Zach Walker to serve as Bloomington's next City Manager. Zach has nearly 2 decades of executive-level government experience and currently serves as the City Manager of Independence, Missouri. Independence is a city of 120,000 people and shares a lot in common with Bloomington. Zach brings an impressive resume and a long list of accomplishments. I look forward to the community getting to know Zach. As I said, the offer is conditional on a professional background check and the successful negotiation of terms, but I'm confident we'll have Zach on board very soon. Throughout this search, we partnered with Mosaic Public Partners, a firm specializing in executive-level public sector recruitment. They engaged with City Council members, community stakeholders, and city staff to ensure a broad and inclusive search process. We were fortunate to attract a highly talented and diverse pool of candidates from across the country, including our own interim city manager, Kathy Hadeen, whose leadership continues to be deeply valued. Choosing among such outstanding finalists made this a challenging decision, but one that reflects a strong future ahead for Bloomington. I want to sincerely thank everyone who applied and went through the search. I want to thank our staff for their participation and great coordination of this entire process. I want to thank you for your input. And finally, I want to thank our City Council. This is a big decision for Bloomington, and your City Council put a lot of hours, a lot of thought, and a lot of heart into this. Thank you all. Stay tuned for a formal announcement and for additional details on Zach's arrival in Bloomington. During our meeting on Monday, the Council had a long discussion on a proposal to significantly change the city's approach to sidewalk snow removal in Bloomington. There's been a lot of community engagement and social media chatter on this topic. Staff developed a detailed and thoughtful plan, and the Council discussion was quite comprehensive. Ultimately, the Council chose not to move forward with any changes to snow removal at this time. But I think it's safe to say conversation is going to continue. A quick recap. During our Minnesota winters, City of Bloomington crews clear snow from sidewalks and trails in the city. And folks, that's a big job. And it's one that the city has been doing for many years. That's more than 260 miles of sidewalks and trails, and it's considerably more than any of our peer cities clear after a snowfall. It takes from 1 to 3 days to clear the snow, and Bloomington crews use specially modified equipment, they work long days, and they are absolutely committed to providing high-quality service. Despite all of this, we know the level of service isn't where it should be. The high number of miles that need to be cleared means that we regularly hear complaints about how long it takes to get the work done. Because uneven sidewalks can seriously damage equipment, crews don't clear all the way down to the pavement. And sometimes grass or other landscaping gets damaged. And it's physically challenging work. Unfortunately, sometimes our dedicated staff gets injured providing this service. So, earlier this year, staff brought forward a proposal that would reduce the city's snow removal routes to approximately 135 miles, focusing on major roads, parks, and school routes. Clearing sidewalks that didn't fit into those categories would have shifted to adjacent property owners, which is the norm just about everywhere else it snows. The proposed changes would have significantly shortened the time it takes to get those sidewalks cleared. It would have freed up staff to support other work, and the plan was expected to save $60,000 in staff overtime alone. But as we heard Monday night, the Council wasn't comfortable making such a major change. Snow removal is a service that the city has been doing for many years, and it's a service that residents have come to expect and rely on. Council members expressed concern over increased salt usage by residents if they cleared snow on their own, confusion over which sidewalks would be cleared by the city and why they would be prioritized over other sidewalks, and whether the operational and financial benefits outweighed the costs of providing snowplow service. The Council voted 7-0 to not accept the staff recommendation on this issue. But there was strong consensus on the Council that the current system for plowing sidewalks is not meeting the city's standards for efficient, effective, and high-quality service delivery. Which gets back to my earlier point about the conversation continuing. Whether it's through different options for operational changes, significantly more investment in equipment and staff, or some other way that we haven't thought about yet, we need to figure out an improved system or process for clearing snow from sidewalks in the winter. Stay tuned and please continue to be part of this discussion. And on the point of being part of this discussion, we received a lot of community feedback on this. That was the plan all along, and I appreciate everybody who weighed in. What really struck me was hearing from people who weren't directly impacted. People that don't have a sidewalk in front of their house, but people who were concerned about their neighbors. They were concerned about the elderly couple down the street, or the person they knew who physically couldn't clear the snow, or the family who would be financially impacted by having to hire someone to clear their sidewalk. That empathy, the ability to share and understand the feelings of others, makes community strong. Empathy is the capacity to experience, at least to some degree, what another person is feeling. It's stepping into someone else's shoes and seeing the world from their perspective. We saw that in this discussion. Empathy fosters connection, it creates understanding, and it builds compassion between individuals and across communities. As we all continue to navigate some very tricky times, both on the national level and on the local level, I hope we can all continue to approach these challenges with empathy. And finally today, last August, the city reduced speed limits on local streets to 25 miles per hour unless posted otherwise. Driving slower is good for you and for your neighbors. This change makes neighborhood roads safer by reducing the likelihood of crashes and injuries from crashes. It also increases safety for pedestrians and cyclists, and slowing drivers down is often the most common concern I hear from residents. The city was able to make this change to local streets after the state legislature granted cities the authority to change speed limits on roadways within their systems. They did that back in 2019. Prior to that, the Minnesota Department of Transportation had the final say. Speed limits were also updated on larger roads in Bloomington, except for those operated by Hennepin County. Counties were not granted the same permissions to set speed limits by the state. I'll admit it's not as clear as it could be. So I encourage you to visit our website and learn more about the shift to slower speed on residential roads. And the city has yard signs available to help promote awareness of Bloomington's 25 mile per hour speed limit on residential streets. Stop by the information desk at Civic Plaza to pick up your free yard sign. Signs will also be available at community events or other locations around the city. That wraps up this week's Council Minute. Thanks so very much for watching. Until next time, stay safe, Bloomington.